Spain is burning. The worst wildfire in the Madrid region's recorded history. Nearly 90,000 people evacuating. And as the flames spread, the cell networks went down with them. 16 municipalities. Around 40 population centers. No signal. In the middle of a national emergency. And then, phones across the fire zone lit up anyway. No dish, no app, no special hardware, ordinary smartphones connecting straight to satellites. SpaceX had flipped a switch, and 2 days before that switch was flipped, Starship launched the satellites that will make this network 10 times more powerful. It is happening. For real. Right now. Let me show you both halves of this story. In the next 10 minutes. How the emergency network in Spain actually works. What the 20 satellites on Flight 13 really did up there. And the one line on Starlink's own website that connects the two. If you follow SpaceX daily like we do, subscribe now. Late July. Massive wildfires tear across the Madrid and Avila regions. Spain declares a national emergency. More than 77,000 hectares burn, an area bigger than Singapore. Madrid's regional president calls it the worst wildfire in the region's recorded history. Even the Madrid Deep Space Communications Complex, the station that talks to spacecraft across the solar system, has to be evacuated. And in the middle of all of it, the terrestrial cell networks get knocked out across 16 municipalities. When you need your phone the most is exactly when the infrastructure fails. July 26, 2:13 in the afternoon, Universal Time. Starlink posts the announcement. Starlink Mobile is providing free connectivity to Maz Orange and Movistar customers in regions affected by the wildfires near Madrid. Families, communities, and businesses with compatible LTE smartphones can now stay connected through SMS, even if terrestrial networks are not available. Read that again. Free satellite texting for customers of Spain's two biggest carriers on the phones already in their pockets. No dish, no app, no hardware change. The phone connects to the satellite on the carrier's own spectrum, as long as it can see the sky. This was not a pilot, not a demo, a live emergency deployment, and one of the first major disaster uses of satellite to phone technology in European history. And Starlink was not done. The next day, the company posted, "When emergencies happen, speed counts," and said, "Starlink Mobile stands ready to activate in France too, the moment regulators say yes." By the way, the ground networks in Spain came back overnight, but the satellite layer stayed on as a backup. That is the new playbook. The tower can burn. The network stays. Now, here is what makes this week historic instead of just heartwarming. The satellites that texted Spain are the current fleet. Over 650 direct-to-cell capable satellites already in orbit. But just 48 hours before the activation, Starship Flight 13 launched the future of that exact network. 20 Starlink V3 satellites. And what they did up there is the second half of this story. 20 satellites, roughly 34 metric tons. The heaviest payload Starship has ever deployed. And these are not ordinary satellites. Each V3 weighs about 1,500 kilograms, so massive that only Starship can carry them. Within minutes of deployment, SpaceX's vice president of Starlink engineering confirmed they had communicated with all 20 satellites over radio and laser links and pulled down telemetry. The community on r/Starlink summed it up. All 20 released, deployed, and linked to the constellation by laser within 5 minutes. And then, 20 minutes later, all 20 satellites burned up in the atmosphere. On purpose. This was a suborbital test, deployed at about 190 kilometers below orbital velocity, so that no matter what happened, nothing stayed up as debris. The satellites providing service in Spain today are the existing fleet. These 20 were the proof that the deployment mechanism works, the laser links work, and the hardware is ready. One top comment said it best, "I am useless compared to what these people are accomplishing." That is an absolutely astounding accomplishment. So what does V3 actually change? Everything. 1 terabit per second of downlink per satellite, roughly 10 times the current generation. Uplink, 22 times faster. 2,048 beams, against 192 today. 6 lasers per satellite, each running at 400 gigabits. Solar arrays 19 meters across. And because Starship can launch dozens of them at a time, every single launch adds about 60 terabits to the network, 20 times what a Falcon 9 flight delivers. But here is the line that ties this whole video together, straight from Starlink's own V3 page. Technology developed for the V3 satellite will support our upcoming Starlink Mobile Gen 2 satellites. That will deliver terrestrial-like LTE level speeds directly to unmodified cellular devices. Read between the lines. Today, the network can text you through a wildfire. The V3 generation is being built so that same network can stream to your phone anywhere on Earth. Spain got the proof of concept. Flight 13 carried the upgrade. And Spain is not a one-off. Starlink texted Los Angeles through the January 2025 wildfires. It backed up cell service through Hurricane Helene. Today, the constellation stands at roughly 8,000 satellites, serving more than 10 million customers. Direct-to-Cell is already live in the UK with Virgin Media O2. Deutsche Telekom is targeting Germany by early 2028. France is one regulatory signature away. And in June, SpaceX signed a 2-year agreement with the US State Department, specifically to restore communications after disasters anywhere in the world. Emergency connectivity from space is quietly becoming infrastructure, not a demo, a utility. So yes, the title says it is happening, and it earned those words twice in 1 week. The Direct-to-Cell network is happening, live, in a real disaster, saving real communication in Spain right now. And the V3 revolution is happening. Tested, validated, and burned up on schedule over the ocean. The network that texts you through a wildfire today is the same network being rebuilt to bring broadband to every phone on the planet. We just watched the handoff happen, in real time, 48 hours apart. But Flight 13 had a darker side. While the ship made history and the satellites aced their test, Booster 20 came home to a hard splashdown and telemetry that banned it from the catch tower. We broke down exactly what went wrong, engine by engine. That video is on your screen right now. Subscribe, and I will see you there.